know, nonstop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Little brunch edition of Purple Daily here on this Sunday morning, presented by our friends at Surly Brewing Company. Good little chaser. If you little Bloody Mary on a Sunday morning and a Surly
that sounds
Furious
ideal
chaser.
Right now. Old Dex Tweets could use a mimosa or a Bloody Mary right now.
A little hair of the dog.
A little hair
How about
of the
a
dog
flight?
Could help.
A flight
would be great.
of them. Mimosas.
Little variety pack.
Don got
A
that last
flight of mimosas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like four
exist.
different ones with different flavors?
I've seen
Well,
those around.
Yeah,
like orange juice, grapefruit juice, and
Yep. There was.
How about one mimosa and a flight of chasers, or one Bloody Mary and a flight of chasers? Can we do that?
I could get down.
The mimosa to me is an incredibly dangerous way to start.
It is. It's very dangerous.
I feel it's
Two
asking.
max. 2 mimosas max.
And the problem is the bottomless ones.
Yes. I don't do bottomless.
Those have been
anymore. I told you
explored
about that
not
last
by
year.
me, but by a person I know very well. I'm not going to name her.
A source close to your wife.
But let's just say said person had to take long nap after the bottomless mimosa experience.
Yep. Well, the show is presented by our favorite chaser, Surly Brewing Company, and also TCL, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands, with a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. So we were we did an emergency Carlos Correa episode when the Twins made one of the most shocking signings in baseball history, and a lot of people, because the Danielle Hunter reports were trickling out around the same time, and a lot of people were, hey, you guys gonna do a little emergency Purple Daily episode? We said we will at some point this weekend, but it feels like there's going to be more information, and so we don't want to do something. And so I don't know. Like we're sitting here on this Sunday morning, and there may still be more information to come out, but this is sort of weird. I'm gonna read you some of these reports, and we're trying to wrap our head around exactly what is happening with Danielle Hunter. I don't know that it's as straightforward as has been painted so far on social media. So first off, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported yesterday morning that barring an unforeseen change, the Vikings will keep Danielle Hunter and pay his $18 million roster bonus due on Sunday. The move will also lock the Vikings into the final 2 years of a 7-year, $72 million contract signed in 2018. We'll get back to that in just a second, all right? Then Ben Gessling came on Twitter from the Star Tribune and said a couple things to know about Danielle Hunter's $18 million roster bonus. While it becomes guaranteed this weekend, today, right, he still has to report to training camp in July on time to earn the bonus. So it's basically saying it's a guaranteed bonus if you report to training camp in 4 months from now. The first $6 million paid within 10 days of camp report date. The Vikings still have the right to convert it to a signing bonus at any time. Why is that important? Because if you pay the roster bonus $18 million, you don't get cap relief for 2022. And the Vikings right now, according to overthecap.com, are just $2.5 million under. And there's still some things they can do here and there, but this is, at its core, a decision. And then I saw Ben Lieber came out talking to an agent source saying that, and other people have said this too, that technically there would need to be language in the contract to convert it to a signing bonus. But why is this important? $18 million here holding the Vikings hostage, right? You can either pay it right now or at the start of training camp, and then have a much cleaner and open salary cap book beyond 2022, right? More of a blank canvas with Danielle Hunter and more cap space. Or you can convert it to a signing bonus if they indeed have the ability to do so, which I don't know why they wouldn't have done that before now, while all these guards fly off the board. And you can allocate that $18 million evenly, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, over the length of the remaining length of the contract. So if it was as easy as snapping your fingers and saying, let's just convert this to a signing bonus, why would you not have done that a week and a half ago to clear like $12 or $14 million in cap space for this year's team, while you've already kicked the can down the road on these other contracts like Thielen, Harrison Smith, and Kirk Cousins? So to me, red flags are sort of popping up for me. It just doesn't seem as cut and dry as, well, that's it. All right. Danielle Hunter's coming back, and
right.
everything's cool here. What do you think? What do you make of it?
let's explore the space here because there is definitely a lot of things going on behind the scenes here that are going to impact this. And I am not reporting a thing, but I am going to recklessly speculate, or in this case, use common sense. First of all, we know for a fact Gessling reported, and I trust him completely, that there were conversations involving trading Hunter. Recent conversations. I am to assume that the Vikings were offered packages that they didn't feel were commensurate with the quality of play that a guy who, when healthy, is one of the best in the league, but yes, has played in only 7 games the past 2 years. So the Vikings didn't like what they heard from teams when it came to potential trades. So they didn't make that trade. Mm-hmm. It's very clear, number one, that the Danielle Hunter camp, and I don't understand this, in not being happy with his contract last year, which, by the way, made sense. I think, Phil, when we talked about this, I think they were like something between like 18 and 21 in the entire league of pass rushing ends for a guy who is probably top 5. The Bosa contract then changed that. And it's like, oh my God, if Bosa got all this and Danielle Hunter's 18 through 21, that makes no sense at all. Now, remember, so the Vikings took care of the situation last June and got him to report to OTAs by Rob Brzezinski literally moved money around. They gave him nothing more and just said, we'll pay you more now, and we'll pay you more a year from now if you don't have a new contract, which clearly the Vikings had no intention. So they've added no money. So like this guy's agent basically was told, all right, I'm supposed to give you $5. Here's a hey kid, here's a crisp 20. Enjoy it. Oh man, thanks. I'll take that 20 and we'll get back to you. So anyway, this now leads us to a couple of questions. Is there any language in the trigger of the bonus that is due that would make what seems like the common sense move not as possible? I don't know. Did they put something in there that because we are led to believe that the standard contract in a case like this very simply says roster bonuses can be converted to signing bonuses to smooth out caps. And unlike what Ben tweeted, we have been led to believe that the boilerplate language of that contract then flat out says the team can do this without the okay of said player. Mm-hmm. So unless there's something different here that Ben has been told specifically is in the Hunter contract, what he tweeted doesn't necessarily make sense. The other thing is, I think what we are looking at now is a team picked up the bonus for now because they know that he at the current rate is not going to report to camp, but they're going to try to resolve it again before that. But keep in mind, you guys,
played 7. He's played 7 games in 2 years. Like,
I know, but keep in mind too, though, like his camp literally last year rolled over, and we're told again, here's a crisp $20 bill. We owe you $5. We're giving you 20, and he said, great. Like this thing of them kicking the can down the road on the Vikings end. Here's where I'm very confused, though. And this goes back to, again, the big picture, okay? This is not about Danielle. This is not about Kirk. This is not about any one human being. What are the Vikings doing? Like, what is the plan here?
I think all along, I stand by what I've said all along, that this is one of the murkiest roster and cap situations in the NFL going back a month ago, 6 weeks ago, when Kwesi took over this job. Mm-hmm. The Kirk Cousins thing was murky and elephant in the room, and what direction do you want to go here? The Danielle Hunter thing is murky. I mean, these are your 2 most important, highest paid players. And both of them are sort of digging their heels in for different reasons on their contract status, right? And then there's all these other tentacles, right? So, if they're going to dig their heels in, then we need to do due diligence on what a trade package could look like while also negotiating contract. Like, it's so murky, and all the other things you have to be doing. I think the next question we have to ask is, if they're going into this season in 2023 looking to win big, which all indications are they are running it back as much as you possibly can. They're clearing room for 2022, much in the way that they've done the last couple of years by restructuring and renegotiating contracts for veteran players, Harrison Smith, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins, to try and find a sliver of cap space to add players to this team. So if that's their goal, and they've already shown that that's their goal, then why would they not convert that $18 million roster bonus into a signing bonus, save $12 or $13 million? Is it because, and you have to answer this for me, if they convert it to a signing bonus, two things happen. Number one, Danielle Hunter gets a lump sum of money, but he also might not be fully willing to play on that contract still. So now you're giving $18 million up front to a guy that's still pissed about his contract, right?
Sure. Yes.
And number two, you're shoving $4.5 million, so we're getting way in the weeds here, but $18 million converted to a signing bonus would then be divided evenly throughout the 4 years of the contract. So you'd be shoving $14 million into the future, including 2 void years where he's not even on your team right now. So is this the line they're drawing? Like, okay, we've already shoved a bunch of void money and dead money into future years, but this is where we draw the line? So that's why something's not adding up here.
So everything you're saying makes perfect sense. I get it. And yes, the Vikings, Kwesi inherited a situation where it is murky. It has been the can kicked down the road countless times now. And I mean, this is where the cat is real and catches up, right? Like they're now like, you can't just continue to be like, we'll concern ourselves with that in 2025. But this comes back to my question though. Sometimes in life, the cosmos or God or whoever you believe in pushes you in a direction, right? Like they put the writing on the wall in front of you. And you're like, I'd really like to do this. I'd really like to win right away. It'd be great. It'd be awesome to win. But my quarterback is balking. My defensive end is balking. I got old guys. God bless them. They're loved here. Jerseys are owned, but they're old guys. How do you not look at this? And this is the Wilfs as well. So again, I'm not just going to blame one person. That's not even fair. But how do you not look at this, Phil, and say, this is the perfect time to deconstruct?
Well, but that ship has sailed.
No, I know that, but I'm saying it makes no sense not to have said that. And you're allowing yourself, you're basically now, in my opinion, if you are the Vikings, you are day after day after day after day causing your own problems now.
Well, but now that the deed is done, to me, like, keep going. Okay, all right. Don't sit on the fence now.
Right, but they're not. But clearly there are different agendas, and this is where I get concerned. This is in short how you work to become the Lions and Jets.
It's how you work to become the Vikings.
Well,
and finish 8-8 every season.
No, I think it could get worse because the complete we haven't seen this type of disconnect in that building since this team was probably owned by 10 people.
Right before the Wilfs, before the Wilfs.
No. Pre-red.
Oh, okay. But mid-90s, yeah.
Yeah, but the point is you now have a bunch of people coming in and trying to, let's do this. Now, I don't think that this team is going to fall into years of complete despair, but I'm very concerned about the pattern here now.
So I think this is still salvageable in a couple different ways, right? And you're probably going to disagree with me on this, but what I have done now is I have meditated over the weekend. I have sat with my Vikings thoughts and feelings.
I have come to terms. You drank a bunch.
I have.
No, I did that for Phil. Yeah.
Declan had tequila last night.
Yeah, a little too much tequila last night.
Good, Declan.
I blame the girl, the girlfriend. I blame the gal. The gal made me do tequila shots with her last night. I blame her.
Okay, that's that's a non-starter, Kwesi.
Yeah.
No.
I'm going down a path that Judd has resisted to this point because I think you're still in denial over what's happening here.
Okay.
All right. There's no turning back. The Vikings have done what they have done with Kirk's contract, with Adams' contract, and what did they do? They restructured Harrison. They just moved his money around, right? They didn't redo his contract. So
no.
But they kicked some more money into future years for cap purposes. What they did. All right. So they've already decided that Mike Zimmer was such a bad coach at the end, and the Vikings lost so many close games. Now, of course, they also lost to the Browns at home when Baker was terrible. They lost to the winless Lions. They lost to Cooper Rush. And it's not quite as easy as saying, look at all the close games they lost. I mean, they were just like, by every measurement, they were just sort of mid last year. But Mike Zimmer was such a bad coach that Kevin O'Connell's going to come in here with a very similar roster, and he's going to add like 3 or 4 wins, change the culture, get them to perform better in clutch situations, offensively and defensively.
Yep.
And so if that is what you are subscribing to, if you're the Vikings, then you need to do one of 2 things with Danielle Hunter. Move money into the future to open up immediate cap space, which, again, would have been nice before the 9 best guards came off the board. Okay, just saying. Or trade Danielle Hunter, clear out cap space to sign Zadarius Smith, and then if you can collect a first or a second-round pick for Danielle Hunter, awesome. That would be great. I mean, if you can get a first-round pick for Hunter at this point, I'm probably just there. Like, I don't want to do this all summer.
It's clear they couldn't, right? Like that's
Right.
my guess. That
So
team's bought.
get the cap space and go sign J.C. Treader to be your starting center. He's one of the 5 best centers in the NFL. He was the number 2 pass blocking center in the NFL last year. It would be a polar opposite experience for Kirk Cousins to have a real, actual professional standing in front of him. Okay, so Zadarius Smith. Maybe you get an extra second-round pick for this year. So you got 2 seconds and a first this year. Yeah. And you get J.C. Treader in here, and now I'm just okay. Now right guard is open for competition. All right, maybe it is Wyatt Davis. I don't know, but it helps to have a real dude at center. And then I'm using my first-round pick on whichever of the 3 best cornerbacks falls to 12, and then I'm using my first, second-round pick on the best edge rusher or like other pieces to help your defense. And if you hit on all of those things, I don't know that you're the Rams yet. I don't know that you're the Buccaneers yet. I don't even know that you're the Packers yet, depending on how they fill the hole left by Devontae Adams. Yep. But if they do those things, okay, all right. I can see the path. I can see where you're going with this thing. But based on how much money you kicked down the road and based on how much draft capital you decided not to cash in on via trades this last month, then you're all in. And you should be judged at a Super Bowl level. So I'm still waiting to see what they do in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I am in no way, shape, or form resisting your thoughts here. At this point in time, I think that's if the correct term is pivot, that probably makes the most sense.
Pivot.
But in sports,
Pivot.
in games, there's something called hope plays, right? Because you don't want to make hope plays. Like at times you have to, but you don't want to make them if you don't, and you certainly don't want to have to make a bunch of them in a game. You just went through a list of hope moves that is so high that yes, you're right. If all those hope moves work, you're looking
a lot of ifs.
You're looking pretty damn good. But I feel like as sports dad, I'm looking for my kids to explain, what are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? Like, Johnny, you know what? Let's sit down and talk right now. Let's have the talk. Johnny, let's have the talk.
At some point, by the way, your name's not Johnny. It's just John. Okay, it's time to grow up, kid.
I've seen some grown men named Johnny. Kwesi, let's talk about what are we doing here? And I really, really fear right now that way this is working, that there is just this weird, bizarre feeling among the Wilfs and some, hey, we're still good. We got Kirk, we're still good. And that I feel like behind the scenes, there's another path that they're going down where Kwesi is trying to make moves that hold some cap space and that can be seen as potentially long-term productive. But I guess I don't understand why you would try to do all of this now when, Phil, to your point, it's just so very clear that the 2021 team had a lot of problems. And the problem too is, so let's say, things are decent, not great, decent in 22. The roster and the fundamental people that you really tried to bring back are still aging. Like they're not going to it's not like they're going to go backwards and go Benjamin Button. They're going to age out. Like they're already there. So like, how do you not identify that and see that? But I'm with you on the thought process, and I am not resisting things here. I will say this. I am flat out I'm trying to get in their heads to figure out what the real plan is here.
By the way, Derek,
it scares me.
Yeah, Derek Duncan asking, where can you guys get these badass Score North hats here?
That's a nice hat.
This is like a 3-year-old. We used to have a bunch of these, but we're working on some merch. We're working on merch. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'd love some more. I think people have said they would wear some Purple Daily hats. So if you guys have recommendations, I would love to have a whole merch wing at some point. So if you guys have ideas, hit us up.
Bring back the fleece.
The quarter zip.
The quarter
zip.
I made some hoodies. Some hoodies.
I have a hat. That's the only thing I have. A palm hat. I love me a palm hat.
The old school fleece was really, really good. I love that.
We need some. Maybe we'll send us some suggestions in the YouTube comment section.
Nice hat.
Let us know. So
So anyway, that's where I land right now, and we'll see.
If they don't, everything they've done so far sort of screams there's more coming, but they don't currently have the cap space to do more. Yes. So it's weird. But if they wind up doing very little beyond what they've done so far, it will be a disaster offseason. And when I say that, I mean not like they're going to win 4 games next year. No. They're going to be competitive. Like they're going to win 7 or 8 or maybe 9 or 10 or whatever.
Right.
But it'll be a missed opportunity to either go further all in or to take a step back and get a bunch of extra first, second, third round picks for some of your current veteran players that other teams would happily look to acquire. Real quick, one move that is sort of pending. He's on 3 different market visits previously with the Vikings a few days ago. Up next, the Patriots and the Bears. This could be like a sneaky. He's 25 years old. This guard, Ryan Bates from the Bills, he's a restricted free agent, and he started the last 5 games for the Bills, including playoffs, at left guard last year and was rock solid. Mm-hmm. So he's got a few teams looking at him. We don't know what the price tag's going to be, but like if you can find a 25-year-old potential starting guard in this mix that's better than what you've been putting out there, I'm interested. But that's not the type of needle-moving thing that's going to put you into contention. It has to be a J.C. Treader. It has to be a Zadarius Smith or something. And right now I think most of the sports books actually have the Vikings. They are worse off in terms of Super Bowl odds now than they were 3 weeks ago because because all these other teams are making additions and clearing cap space and signing offensive linemen and getting better. How are the Vikings better now than they were a few days ago? And that's the question I need to see answered in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And I feel like the Hunter move is potentially a very smart move for the future. Like I think that there is definitely something at work here. And I don't know if because he's been hurt for 2 years, they don't want to rip up his contract, which you know what might be the case. So I feel like the Hunter move actually in a vacuum makes sense. My problem is with the other moves, I don't get it at all. So, and that's where I'm saying, I think that there might be 2 different, like completely different plans being worked here, but why would you do that? Like that's going to drag your franchise down. So that's where it's confusing because I think people think that we are just continually ripping them for each move.
Well, you are, but that's fine.
But it's a puzzle, right? It's a puzzle that has to work. So like if Danielle was being spurned in the puzzle of, hey, we just not now, we're not going to, it's not the time, I'd be like, okay, that's not ideal, but I totally get it. Because each move in and of itself, we can actually discuss and almost debate the move itself. But then when you put the entire roster together with, of course, probably the most important thing, the cap, right? That's where it gets ultimately completely confusing on direction. Yeah. So I don't want people to think that we're like taking apart each move and saying, well, that's just stupid. It's more that it doesn't make sense when you try and put the whole thing together and say, okay, how does this work for the 2022 roster and beyond?
Is there any circumstance in which you guys would just give Danielle Hunter a big contract right now?
No.
Yes, I'm with Dax.
No. I let him ride it out.
I know he's so good, but like, how can you do that? How can you can't? And if and I get where he's coming from, he's looking at this saying, man, before the injuries, I was like one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. And I mean, I got to get my money. I got to get money before my career erodes away. So I understand it, but I just don't know how you can, in good faith, if you're the Vikings, say, all right, dude, here's $50 million guaranteed over the next 3 seasons or whatever.
Explain this though. last June, I believe it was. How do you allow your agent to come to you and say, I didn't get you $1 more, but they're going to give you more? Like, you've got to say, okay, no, dude, this has to be solved now.
And I see a lot of people in the comments saying, just keep Hunter, or they're going to keep Hunter. Guys, it's not entirely up to the Vikings. Danielle Hunter held out all last offseason. Yeah, there's some buzz that he's planning on doing the same thing because he doesn't have to go to any of these offseason workouts until training camp, right?
Just won't get paid. The 3-day mini camp. So he gets, I believe that he forfeits bonus money for workouts if he does not go to the optional stuff. The only thing that he has to go to is the 3-day camp in June.
So he has like $100,000 workout bonus.
Yeah, I think he lost $500,000 or approximately that in workout bonuses for OTAs last year. That's nothing for him.
That dude has rolls of toilet paper that have more than $100,000 on it. Sure.
Yeah,
but he can be fined substantially each day of the 3-day camp in June. So if he doesn't show, and that's when he basically, or not basically, he agreed to show up last year, and they gave him that lump sum right before that because Rob outsmarted them. But the fact is, you got to solve this, or he's gone. The problem now is, I think they called teams, and teams were like, "Well, he's played 7 games the past 2 years. We'll give you, I don't know, just guessing, a 3rd-round pick or something." Yeah. And they said no.
All right, before we go about our brunchy Sunday here, what is your chaser of choice today, Judd? Tell the audience.
Oh boy, that's a difficult decision. Let's see here. Let's see if I have my beer. Oh, I know what it is. A Surly Furious IPA, the best in town. I mean, look, all of the products from my friends at Surly Brewing are absolutely outstanding. But the Furious, if I gotta have that little chaser, but here's the thing too, Phil. Chasers, not for Judd. Sports Dad don't do that. Oh, wow. Sports Dad does the full glass. Bloodies, overrated.
Oh, so you do a bloody and a pint, or just
no?
Just
I don't do the bloodies. Overrated. Overrated.
Geez.
I just do the pint. That's what I do because the pint is delicious. And I think I might be watching some sports action today with a Surly Furious nearby.
Nice. All right. Well, that's a wrap on this brunch edition of Purple Daily
It's
here
been
on
fun.
Sunday. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Just don't always take everything at face value. We're not trying to stir the pot. We're just saying this is not as cut and dry. And by the way, if they just like eat the roster bonus this year and don't clear cap, it makes even less sense. So I don't know. We'll see.
A PD brunch edition with us all at brunch.
Well, I'm headed to brunch right now, so I'm
but
keep the party rolling here.
No, I'm saying like in a month or something.
Sure. Okay.
That we all go to a brunch. I'll put Dawn on. I'll put Stella on at the friendly brunch place. It'll be great.
Nice.
Okay, I'll bring Vinny.
We'll make it happen.
Oh, I love Vinny. Vinny is great.
We're in the dog market right now too. I'm telling you.
Oh, you're
in the dog market.
It's probably gonna
hold on.
Speculation.
How about burying the lead?
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
probably gonna happen. Yeah.
What happened, Cat Guy?
Still cat guy. Maybe we do one of each, but we haven't had a dog since we've been together, so we're gonna maybe make it happen.
Just make sure you go small dog, okay? Don't go big dog.
Our land. So we're renting a place here, and the landlord said as long as it's not a big dog. So
don't go big dog. Not fair.
We're looking at Boston Terriers right now. So
okay,
we'll see what happens.
Good little pup. I like that.
All right, boys.
All right,
gentlemen. That's right.
Bye,
dog shopping daily here.
I love dogs.
Presented by Purple Daily.
If you don't love dogs, you don't belong in our club.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good girl?
Who's a good little girl?
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow or tonight if something crazy happens.